And right before it started, it said, "Look, you know about the rope, don't you?" I said, "The rope?" It said, "Yes, the rope. You know about the rope." I said, "Which rope are you talking?" "But the rope, the rope. You have to know about the rope. No pundit can do a Nepali wedding without the rope." I said, "Okay, but what's the rope for?" He said, "No, you have to tie it to the bride, and then the groom's family have to hold it at least 20 feet away." And he went through a long explanation about the rope. I said, "Okay, well, you guys can do it, you know, and you want me to say some mantras when you're doing it?" He said, yeah, you know those mantras?" I said, "Yeah, I know plenty of mantras." I mean, they don't understand Sanskrit, so I could chant any mantra, right? Now, this is a real story. I'm not making it up. So you see, there are regional differences. Where it came from, maybe it came from Vedic tradition. I don't know. I mean, Gujarati weddings, you have the rope. No. I had never seen it before. I did many marriages. I never saw it before. So, but, you know, you can't argue with people. It's part of their tradition. So there are many misconceptions that enter into our life and mind. And today we're going to go over some of the main ones. And due to these misconceptions, we will never attain the purpose of human life. So the first one, I mean, the whole idea about these misconceptions about the purpose of life is to keep people entangled in the material world of birth and death away from God or Krishna. Number one, the illusion due to the false identification with the body. In other words, believing I am this body. Now, which body are you talking about? Because we began with a microscopic body. And I don't think anyone would deny that. That microscopic body was the sperm that carried the soul from the father to the egg of the mother, which formed the nutrient base for the development of the soul and the development of the body. So, at no stage have we ever been this body, because the body is constantly changing. It starts microscopically. You cannot see the sperm with your raw eye. You need a microscope to see it. And that just begins to give us an idea of the size of the soul. The size of the soul is explained in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. You want to get everyone the Bhagavad Gita? They're in this. It's good if you have the Bhagavad Gita to follow with me. So if you look at the second chapter, verse number 13. So if we open up Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, and I'm sorry, verse number 17. Avinasi tutadvidi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasam abhyayasyasya nakaschit kartam arhasi. So in this chapter it says, that which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. So right away we see a stark difference between an imperishable soul and a perishable body. So we are not this body, we are that imperishable soul. And the size of the soul is explained in the Vedas. In the Svatasvatara Upanishad 5.9, this is second chapter, 17th verse of Bhagavad Gita. Second chapter, verse 17. You have that? You have it? Okay, show him. You got it? Okay. All right, so in the purport, or the commentary, the verse is quoted, Balagra satabhagasya satada kalpitasya cha bhago jiva cha vigyeya sa chananyaya kalpate. And that is, when the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts, each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the soul. So in other words, you take one hair and you cut it longitudinally into 100 strips. Then you take the 1/100th strip and you cut it again 100 times longitudinally. You end up with 1/10,000th the tip of the hair. Now, you can describe it, but you can't do it. 1/10,000th the tip of the hair is smaller than an atom. Already we can't see an atom. We can see molecules, large molecules, but no one's ever seen an atom. Now, you'll see pictures in science books of atoms. You know, they say there's electrons and protons and neutrons, and and they have a schematic drawing of it. No one's ever seen that. That's all theorized. No one has ever seen the atom. Okay? So this is small. The soul is smaller than the atom. So therefore, we understand that when the one sperm, by the way, men produce between 500,000 to 750 million sperm in a lifetime. Did you know that? It's a huge number. Of course, there is. There's many men today in the United States having trouble with that. They don't produce that many anymore. But anyway, that is the normal production. So these seeds, or the sperm, are microscopic, and the soul is smaller than that. So you can see that it's a vehicle carrying the soul. Then it says, Kesagra satabhagasya. There are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms which are measured as 1/10,000th of the upper portion of the hair. So again, it's explaining the soul. And then again, a little bit farther down, it's a quote from the Mundaka Upanishad 3.1.9. The soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. This atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air, prana, apana, vyana, samana, and udana. Is situated within the heart and spreads its influence all over the body of the embodied living entities. When the soul is purified from the contamination of the 5 kinds of material air, its spiritual influence is exhibited. So here we're getting a lot of information about the soul. First of all, the dimension of it. And now you can gauge its power. That 1/10,000th tip of a hair is the size of the soul, but yet it fills the entire body with consciousness. And you can see the difference between a living person and a dead person. Dead person does not have a soul. There's no consciousness in the body. A living person has a soul. There's consciousness in the body. If I pinch a person that's living, they feel it. If I pinch the dead body, nothing. You see. So, but if you compare the size of the body to the size of the soul, it's comparable to the size of the sun and the size of the universe. It's comparable. So we're talking about 1/10,000th the tip of a hair. So it's smaller than an atom. Now, according to the Vedas, the diameter of the universe, the material universe, is 4 billion miles. So you do the math. An atom, I don't know. I don't think they've ever measured one atom. Have they? Have they measured one atom? Do you know anything about that? No. Well, obviously it's very small. It's invisible. Okay, you can't even see it. But your body is visible. So I'm going to venture that proportionately it's the same as the sun compared to the universe that's 4 billion miles in width. And the body compared to the soul, the atomic soul. Now, when the soul conjoins with the ovum, a body begins to form. At first it's a pea with 9 holes, and then each hole develops into, there's appendages and so forth. And the 9 holes are 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, a mouth, a genital, and an anus. And eventually it becomes a very tiny fetus, and then the fetus begins to grow. And then it's pushed out at birth, and it's a small baby like this, and then that body begins to grow. And, you know, you have a little child, and you have a bigger child, and you have a teenager, then you have a mature person, you have a middle-aged person, and you have an old person, and eventually they die. At every stage, the body is changing. So if someone says, I am this body, that's my identity, which body are you? Are you that sperm? Are you that sperm that entered the ovum? Are you the fetus that was not even 1 inch long? You see, would anyone deny that they had a 1-inch body at one time? I don't think so. You would make a mistake. See? So this concept that Harivilas Prabhu, welcome back. Hey, Krishna. Okay. This concept that I am the body, that's the number one and biggest misconception of life. And based on that misconception, many things follow. Many corollary things follow. Number one, we develop the false ego based on the false identification with the body. The false ego means we believe something about ourselves that was never true at any time. Like someone can say, I am Pakistani. Well, wait a minute. I am Pakistani, but you can see that in Pakistan there are people say, I'm Baluchi. I'm not Pakistani, I'm Baluchi. Oh, wait a minute now. Are you Pakistani or are you Baluchi? You say. So then it gets more complicated. Person says, yeah, but I'm Baluchi, but from this tribe. We don't like the other tribes. Now it's getting more complicated, right? And eventually, when this false ego develops, every person differentiates themselves from every other person. So I might be Baluchi from this tribe, but I don't like my tribe. So now it's getting more complicated, you see. So this identification with the body breeds the false ego. And false ego means you believe something that was never true. That was never true. Just so, like for example, believing I am this body. No time was I this body. Believing that I'm American or I'm Indian or I'm Latino. Actually, it's not true. Your soul is not Latino. Your soul is not Indian. So who are we exactly? Because unless we figure out who we are, our real identity, we will always be making false assumptions in our life based on false identification. It's just like if you make a mistake at the beginning of a mathematical problem that you're trying to solve, will you get the right answer at the end? What do you think? No. So this is the most fundamental. I mean, there are a whole bunch of misconceptions here, but this is the most fundamental misconception because many things come from this misconception. So, if I'm not this body, then who am I exactly? We can understand that by trying to understand what is the basic thing that defines who we are. Like, for example, the word dharma means that thing that you cannot separate from a person, and it maintains them. So there is Dharma and there's Sanatan Dharma. So what is that thing that defines a person? It's service. Everyone is serving somebody. And if you don't have anyone to serve, you buy a dog or a cat. You serve them. So when you get married, you become a servant. The wife serves the husband serves the wife, husband and wife serve the kids serve the father and mother. You say, you get divorced, then you serve somebody else. Right? You never stop service. You go to work, you're serving. You're serving the boss, you're serving the team leader. Right? You come home, you're serving the family. You join some club, you're serving the people in the club. So Dharma means service. It's the quality that cannot be separated from a person. Everyone is serving. The dog is serving the master. And the people, the master is serving the dog. You see him walking down the street with the dog stops and poops. And then the master takes a plastic bag out of his pocket, puts it on backwards on his hand, picks up the poop, and then closes the bag and holds the bag. So is the dog serving the man, or is the man serving the dog? Both. They're both. If someone tries to harm the master, the dog starts barking and will bite that person. See? So service is what defines who we are. Just like you might be working in a company and you come on time for 20 years to the job, and you always produce the deliverables on time to your team leader or boss. And after 20 years you retire, they give you a gold plate with signed employee, the greatest employee this company has ever had. What's that? What is that title based on? And the service that you did, you see. And if you do bad service, they kick you out. You see? Okay, so now what is the difference between Dharma and Sanatan Dharma? Because Dharma, service, can only maintain you for a certain period of time. Let's say you start on a new job, and after 1 week you leave. Do they pay you at the end of the month your full salary? No, they only pay you for 1 week, and that'll only maintain you for maybe a week or two. You see. So Dharma cannot maintain you eternally, but Sanatan Dharma can. That's the difference between Dharma and Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma is service that we render to God, to Krishna. That can maintain us eternally. Okay, so but we will not render that service if we falsely identify ourselves as the body. So instead of serving God, we'll serve our body. Now, you see that most people in this world are serving their body or the extension of their body in the form of children, wife, uncles, aunties, cousins, and so forth, or their nation or their ethnic group, etc. They're not serving God. They're serving. They might pray to God, please let me serve my people. The word for my people in Sanskrit is swajana. I want to serve my people, swajana. Right? So the Pakistani serves the Pakistanis, the Hindu serves the Hindus, the Christian serves the Christians, this one, that one, like that. But when we decide to serve God, that's a sign that we're not identifying with the body, we're identifying with the soul. And therefore it becomes sanatan, eternal. Okay, so now the second major misconception of life is the belief that man was put in this world to enjoy, or that this world is meant for the enjoyment of mankind. So, if you ask almost anyone, what do you want in life? They'll say different things, but eventually they'll say, I want to be happy. To be happy, I want peace. If there's peace and I'm happy, then I want love. Right? They might not say it at first. They might say, I want a Tesla. I want a new house. I want a new wife. I want to do this, new that. But eventually they say, I want to be happy. Why do you want a Tesla? I want to be happy. Why do you want a new house? I want to be happy. Why do you want a new wife? I want to be happy. Okay. So this idea of enjoyment, that's the purpose of life, is a misconception. How can you have happiness if life is a progression of birth, old age, disease, and death? How can there be happiness in such an atmosphere where at any time we can die, and people that you love get old and they get sick, and you're eventually going to get old and get sick and die? How can you be happy in such an atmosphere? And why do we not want to die? Because intrinsically we are a soul that's eternal. So here we see there's the duality between the soul that's eternal and the body that's temporary. And as long as we identify with the temporary, as long as we identify with the temporary body, we become bewildered when there's suffering. So why? I'm working not to suffer, and suffering is coming. How come? Why is this? So you see, just like a friend of mine the other day was talking to me, he said, Prabhu, I'm not sure, he said, I think I'm getting a cold. I said, okay. You want some medicine? No, let's wait and see. So today he told me, Prabhu, I have a sore throat, I'm coughing, I have a headache, my nose is beginning to run, I really got a bad cold now. Now, when he said, I think I'm getting a cold, he was still happy. He was still healthy. But he felt the little scratch in his throat, and he felt maybe there's something going to happen, you see. Now, did he plan on getting a cold? Did he want to get a cold? No. Did he try everything to avoid it? Yes. It still happened. Now, there are worse situations. Like, for example, if you were a Hindu in Uganda when Idi Amin took over the government, you were in trouble. Idi Amin gave the Hindus 24 hours to leave his country, and they could only take one suitcase. And they examined the suitcase also to see what was in it. If there was gold or jewelry, they took it out. He threw out every Hindu in Uganda, and there were a lot, and they had been living there for a long time, at least 3-4 generations. He threw them all out in 24 hours. Get out. That property is not yours. Your business is not yours. Get out. Same thing happened after independence in India. In fact, I saw this one documentary where they interviewed a Hindu gentleman who was living in Delhi, who used to live in Pakistan. When he was in Pakistan, he was still a young boy, maybe 10 years old. And he saw his father, who was a Hindu, but he was a politician in Pakistan. He had some kind of, he was elected to some kind of high office. He saw his father murdered, hanged. And he had to walk to the Indian border with a large group of other Hindus. They were walking. And he saw horrible things happen during that walk. Not all the people survived. Many people died. They were murdered, or they died of exhaustion. And they were interviewing him. and he was telling his story. Then, on the other side, they interviewed the Pakistani man that murdered his father. They somehow or other found him. And they asked him, they said, do you regret what you did? He said, why should I regret? I'm happy I did it. I'll do it again. These people don't belong in our country. Unbelievable, nasty hatred. This man was like 85 years old, and he had no remorse at all. And they asked the boy, he was now in middle age. They asked him what he thought. He said, look, all I can tell you is the most shocking thing I saw was not, it was bad enough to see my father being murdered, he said. But when we were walking toward India, when we got near the border, we saw another group of people walking the other way from India into Pakistan. And those were Pakistanis that were living many generations in India, just like we were Hindus living many generations in Pakistan. And they were going the other way. And at one point, we stopped and they stopped. And we just looked at each other. And they were just like us. They were sad. They were bewildered. And we were sad and bewildered. And we can understand what's happening to us was happening to them. He said, that was the most scary thing I ever saw in my life. He said, I can't get that picture out of my mind. So here we see this false bodily identification leads to genocide sometimes. People kill each other. They kill each other even though they were neighbors for generations. See? So this bodily identification. And then secondly, the belief that we're meant to enjoy in this world. Actually, enjoy through the body by eating, sleeping, mating, and basically fearing, because you don't enjoy when you're fearing, but the situation of life is such that you always have a fear. At least just like I knew, like my mom, she was always worried something might happen to one of her sons, or something might happen to her husband, or something might happen to another relative. She always was worrying. Okay. In fact, when my brother went into World War II, she was going to church at least 3 or 4 times a week, lighting a candle and praying that my brother come back alive. You see? So you see, there's eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. This is material life. It's not only human beings, even the animals. When you see a bird eat something, the bird's always looking like this, and then eating something, and then looking like this. Why are they looking like this? Fear. You know, is there a cat behind me? Is there somebody, you know, some predator is going to kill me? You see? So, how can you actually be happy in a world like this? It's very difficult. Yeah, there are periods of happiness, but they're punctuated also by periods of misery and anxiety and fear and death and old age. So, if we're not meant to enjoy in this world, what are we meant to do? What is the purpose of life then? Purpose of life is Atma Tattva, understanding the difference between the body and the soul and dedicating yourself to the yearning of the soul. The yearning of the soul is to be eternal. That's the nature of the soul. But as long as it's trapped in the body, it's forced to suffer the miseries of the body. The miseries of the body are 3. Adhyatmika, adhibodhika, adhidevika. Miseries caused by the body itself, like diabetes, like broken limbs, like toothaches, earaches, cancer. You know, these are miseries caused by the body itself. And then miseries caused by other bodies, like mosquitoes biting you, snakes biting you, scorpions biting you, people biting you, you know, all kinds of miseries, right? And then miseries caused by natural cataclysmic events, such as earthquakes, floods, tsunamis, hurricanes, and so forth. So, actually, the soul is not affected by these things, but the soul that identifies with the body is affected by it. Just like one time, I witnessed a car accident. I was not in a car. I was just walking on the sidewalk. And I saw some person. He had a VW rainbow-colored van. You know that a VW, a Volkswagen. Yeah. And it was rainbow-colored. Like he colored it himself in different colors. It was a hippie, right? And he ran into this woman that had a brand new Lexus. Beautiful. It was brand new. So she got out of the car and she started screaming at the top of her lungs and saying, you know, give me your license, show me your insurance. And he must have been high on marijuana. He started laughing. You know, lady, I don't got no insurance, you know. And she went nuts. And I'm calling the police, and you know. Now, she was so upset about her car being hit, she didn't notice that her mother was injured. She didn't even notice it, right? After she finished her tantrum, then she noticed her mother was somewhat injured. Her mother was an older lady, right? So, she was not injured. Why did she get so angry? Attached to the car. That the fact that her car it was a brand new Lexus, a very expensive car, right? The fact that her car got damaged hurt her, although she was not hurt physically. So now let's ask a question. What got hurt? What caused her to violently react like that? Huh? The false ego. False ego means identifying with something that you were never. She was never that car, right? Like if she bought if that car was driven by someone else and it got hit, she wouldn't be affected by it. But the same car that she's attached to got hit, she went berserk. So she went so crazy, she didn't, like I said, she didn't notice that her mother was injured. Right? So this false identification with something that we are not, like the body or the car or your 401k or this or that, this causes suffering. If something happens to that thing that you are not, right? And that suffering is actually false. It's not based on anything real. That's why everything begins with the false ego and falsely identifying oneself as the body. And then it extends out to whatever you acquire as that through for the pleasure of your body. Whatever you acquire, you identify with that also. And it becomes devastating. Like, for example, the example of this one Andhra Pradeshi gentleman. He graduated from IIT in India and moved to England, got married, and became a stockbroker. And he did very well. In a few years in London, he had a portfolio of about $4 million, right? And he said, look, London is great, but America is better. So he moved to the United States, to California, and he got greedy. Say, greedy. So America is a great place. Like, if you have money, a little bit of money, you can make a lot more money on the stock market, especially when the market is going up. And then if you have a stockbroker who's also greedy, then he'll let you buy stocks on margin. If a stock costs $100, you only have to put $5 up to buy it. I mean, what could be better than that, right? So he started buying on margin big time because $4 million is not enough. He wanted $4 billion. See, everybody wants to be Bezos, Gates, you know. They're not satisfied with $4 million. So, and it was going good. He was making money. Then the market crashed. And overnight, he went from up $4 or $5 million to down $500,000 in a matter of days. And when you buy on margin, then you have 24 hours to cover the debt. And he couldn't do it. So now he went bankrupt. He was devastated because his whole life, obviously when he was so successful, he never went to a temple. He never listened to any pravachan. And he started eating meat and drinking because all the rich guys, they eat meat. So he had to eat meat also, right? Even though his family never ate meat in India, but, you know, he came to America to learn how to eat meat and drink wine and all these good things. So now he's bankrupt. They're going to seize his house, seize his car, and, you know, he's devastated. And he doesn't know anything about God. He doesn't know anything about chant Hare Krishna. Nothing, right? So he had the idea, look, I want to die honorably. And I want my kids and my wife to die honorably. So he got a gun, shot his wife and kids first, and then pulled the trigger on himself. And he left a letter. He said, this is an honor killing. Now you tell me what's honorable about it. Is there anything honorable about that? No, nothing at all. I mean, okay, you want to kill yourself. Why do you have to kill your kids and your wife? Right? And by the way, why can't you just go back to India, live with your family, and start all over again? Your relatives can loan you some money, or you can just get a humble job and start all over again. He's got good education, right? No, because he was blinded by the false ego. You see how dangerous it is to have a false ego? So, this belief that we're meant to enjoy in this world, it's actually false. It's a misconception. But what are we meant to do? We're meant to develop our character and self-realization so we can go back to where we belong, the spiritual world, where everything is eternal. And you can go back with your family. So, in Vaikuntha, there are families, husband and wife, and they're eternal. And everything is wonderful there. There's no taxes, there's no Trump, there's no Pakistanis. It's a wonderful place. You know, you live peacefully. You know, nice prashadam. You don't have to eat because you have an eternal body, but you eat just for the pleasure of it. You don't have to sleep, but you can sleep if you want to. And every day there's Mahotsav. And Mahotsav is always getting better and better. You have Shriman Narayana, you have Lakshmi Devi, and so forth. And if you're really advanced, you go to Goloka, where there's Krishna and Nanda Baba and Yasoda Mai and the cows. And, you know, it's even better than Vaikuntha. But Vaikuntha is wonderful, you know. So, which one do you want? You want to die in ignorance, old age, disease, death, see all your relatives die? Like, for example, in my family, okay, I'm 73. Almost every one of my family's dead. My brothers are dead, mother and father are dead, my aunties are dead, uncles are dead. They're all dead. So as you get older, you know, if you live that long, you see everybody die. And then you think, well, I'm next. You see. So unless we know what the purpose of life is, we're just going to waste our time worrying and seeing things get worse and worse. And eventually we also die, and we're ignorant. We don't know what's going to happen next. But then, when Yamaraj comes, then you really understand, oh my God, I made a big mistake wasting my life worrying about 401k, worrying about stock market, worrying about politics, worrying about cricket, worrying about this, worrying about that. I shouldn't have wasted my time like that. And the worst waste of time was watching the Bollywood movies. Hours and hours of Bollywood, you know. Pyar, 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 you know. All nonsense. There's no pyar. You know. So, number 3 misconception. The belief that there is a soul. That, here, you can hand these out. From now on, we're going to have a summary of the lectures I give every Sunday, so you can take it home and think about it during the week. Number 3 misconception of life. The belief that there's no soul, and if there is a soul, it's made of, at some stage of material evolution. Okay. Now, what is the difference between the soul and the body? The soul, the symptom of the soul is consciousness. You become aware, right? And the difference between a living body and a dead body doesn't have consciousness. Now, if the body was just made of, and the soul was just made of matter, then scientists are smart. They can measure you before you die and analyze your blood and analyze this and analyze that, your urine, your saliva, everything. And they can analyze you after you're dead, and they'll see whatever is missing, they can inject it into you, and it should bring you back to life. Is it not? But it doesn't work like that. Because the soul is not something material. It's not made of matter. Therefore, you could inject as many supplements and superfoods you want into the dead body. It's not going to come alive. Have you ever seen a dead body come alive? No, I haven't either. You know, they say Jesus came alive after he was crucified. That may be true, but he was not injected with supplements. You know. They didn't have supplements then, right? There was no GNC and Whole Foods and PCC at that time. So this is a misconception that the soul is made of matter. It's not made of matter. It's a different substance. See? Now, who are we going to identify with, our soul or our body? This is a fundamental question we have to decide in this life. Because everything you do in your life will depend on which way you go, which way you decide. If you're a soul, then you go on the path of Sanatan Dharma. If you're a body, you just go on Dharma, service. And the biggest misconception of service is Manava service is Madhava service. Serving man is serving God. That is the biggest misconception. See? For example, people say, Bill Gates is a good billionaire. And 99% of the rest are bad billionaires. Why do they say Bill Gates is a good billionaire? Because he uses at least half of the money he has for a charity. But what kind of charity is he doing? Charity for the body. He's doing Manava service, Seva. He's trying to eliminate malaria. He's trying to eliminate AIDS. He's trying to eliminate this. He's trying to eliminate that. But is that really helping people? Well, it's helping their bodies, yes. But it doesn't solve the real problem of people. And this is the issue that we have to think about. What is our real problem in life? Is it politics? Is it psychology? Is it war? Is it violence? Is it the economy? Is it global warming? What is the real problem of life? there are 4 real problems in life: birth, old age, disease, and death. Those are our real problems. All the other things you can deal with. Global warming. There's no global warming. It's global cold now. Where's the warmth coming from? It's cold as heck now, right? And all right, then you say, no, it's climate change. Climate has always changed throughout history. Sometimes it gets a little colder, sometimes it gets a little warmer, right? But people still exist. This is the thing about human beings. They're able to adapt to whatever condition. Like, you look at the Eskimos. Are they living in Cancun or Guadeloupe? No, they're living in frozen tundra, in Greenland or in Alaska or in northern Canada. And they're living in igloos. The house is made out of ice. And they eat cold fish. They got to break the ice and they stick something in there and grab a fish and take it out, and that's what they eat. There's no Safeway, there's no Costco, right? But yet, they live. And they have generations living like that. And then you have people living in the desert. Like you have, in India, you have certain tribes. The tribals, some of them live in the desert. They eat rats. You ever hear about those tribals in India? I saw a documentary once, how they catch the rats. And then they do a barbecue with the rat. Rat kebab. Right? So, people adapt to their environment. It can be freezing cold. It can be hot as anything. It can be living in the mountains. It can be living in the, next to the ocean. People adapt. But they all have the same problem, whether they're Eskimos or whether they're desert people. Birth, old age, disease, and death. In fact, I recently saw a very interesting thing. In Indonesia, they don't bury their dead right away. They keep the dead body of grandpa or grandma in the house, and they continue offering it cigarettes, food, and and they bathe the body also, because they say if you bury the body right away, then it's too much of a shock. But if you keep the body in the house and the kids see it, and my wife is cooking for the body, and I'm bathing the body, and I bring the cigarettes that my grandpa used to smoke, and so forth. He said, then it's not such a shock. Now, do you believe that? But it's a fact. There are tribal people in Indonesia that's their tradition. They don't bury the body. They'll keep it for a year in the house. Yeah. So people adapt, but all people have the same problems: birth, old age, disease, and death. Now, can you solve these 4 problems with modern science? Well, let me tell you something. The modern scientists who are trying to solve the problem, they also die. And sometimes they die quicker. Like one time, a friend of mine was telling me he went to a doctor, a cancer doctor, right? And when he was having a private interview with the doctor started coughing really bad. And it's put a doubt in the mind of my friend. He said, my God, I'm coming to him because I have cancer. It looks like he's got cancer. And he's going to advise me what to do. So everybody's got these 4 problems, and modern science is not going to solve the problem of old age, disease, and death. Don't believe them. Yeah, one solution they have now, they freeze you right before you die, so that later on they can unfreeze you and cure your sickness in the future when they solve the riddle of death. You think you're going to be alive when they unfreeze you? I mean, there are people and animals frozen in Siberia. And when they unfreeze them, are they alive or dead? They're dead. So, and it's expensive to be frozen. It costs $150,000 a year. It's not, and if you, for any reason, you stop paying, I mean, your family stops paying, you know what happens? They turn the freezer off. It's happened. It's happened. You sign a contract with them. They say they'll never unfreeze you until they find a solution. But if you don't pay every month, every year, they turn the freezer off, turn the electricity off. You see? So don't believe them. Then other people say, we're going to make a computer program of your brain and put it into a Chinese robot that looks exactly like you, and you'll live eternally. Now, what's wrong with that? There's some guy named Igor Brzezinski in Belarusia, and he's going to hack your computer, and you're going to end up in the junkyard, right? And believe me, it'll happen, right? So that's not a solution either. So what other solution do they have, right? How they go? Oh yeah, the other solution is they're going to have O'Reilly's or Napa for the body. You need a new heart, you come in, it only costs $20,000. You get a new heart. You need a new liver, you come in, but they have all the spare. They'll have all the spare parts in the future, but you have to have the money, right? So this is all nonsense. It's all nonsense. The only way you can solve this problem, this riddle of birth, old age, disease, and death, you read this one book called Bhagavad Gita. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel was already invented. 5,000 years ago, Krishna spoke the quintessential book of immortality. And it's easy. It's not difficult. Is it difficult to chant? You tell me. To sing. Is it difficult? No. Is it difficult to eat nice food? No. No. Is it difficult to dance? Huh? It is? No. You can dance. Even if you have a club foot, you can dance. So now, you see, that's what Krishna is recommending here. Satatam kirtayanto mam chitantascha dhritavata namasyantas chamam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Let's take a look at that verse. 9th chapter, 14th verse. And it says, always chanting my glories, Krishna says, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So, chanting, dancing, having nice prasad that's blessed by Krishna. Not one time I did a house program, and after the program, the family said, "Now, Prabhu, please sit down and have some prasad." I said, "Okay, but can I ask you a question first?" They said, "Yeah, what's that?" "Did you make it?" No, we got it." I said, "Where'd you get it from?" "Taj Mahal restaurant." I said, "Taj Mahal restaurant. Do you know the name of the cook?" "Yeah, his name is Mahmud." I said, "Okay, I'm going to skip the prasad." Now, is Mahmud in the Taj Mahal restaurant, is he capable of cooking prasad? No. Is he going to cook it in the same pot that he cooks meat? Probably. I went to a restaurant once, this was before I was a devotee, in Paris, France, and I went to a Moroccan restaurant. They specialize in couscous, if you know what that is. It's something like semolina. And he came and said, "What would you like?" I said, "Well, I'm a vegetarian." He said, "No problem." I said, "Okay, I'll take couscous, vegetarian couscous." "No problem." And there was a friend of mine, he took the regular couscous with meat, right? So when he brought the two plates, he gave the meat one to my friend, vegetarian one to me. But I looked at his and I looked at mine, and I sort of smelled his and I smelled mine. It smelled the same. So I called the waiter. I said, "Can I ask you a question?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Is this vegetarian?" He said, "Yes." I said, but it smells the same." "No, I took the meat out." Okay, so you think Mahmoud at the Taj Mahal restaurant is going to be able to make vegetarian food that I can offer to Krishna? See, so this is the problem in life. You know, people, they don't realize, but they're living a comic life. You know, it's a tragedy comedy. It's a tragedy and a comedy at the same time. See, so here, if we learn how to offer Krishna food, Krishna will accept it and bless it, and it comes back as his prasad. Prasad means the mercy of God. If you eat prasad, especially pregnant women, you should only eat prasad. Then the body of your baby is made with prasad. Say, this is science. Now we're talking real science. We're not talking about we all come from monkeys and all started with a big bang. Yeah, if I make a big bang in your ear, will it create the universe or destroy your body? Right? It's a bunch of nonsense, Big Bang theory. So, prasad is a super special product. In fact, ladies, if you want to control your husband, I'm going to give you a secret. Now, men, don't listen to this. Learn how to make really nice prasad. No TV dinners, no nonsense like that. All nice, fresh prasad. And serve your husband. You'll see. Whatever you say, he'll do after that. But it can't just be once. It has to be every day. Then whatever you say, he'll do. Believe me. You try it. You try it. So, I hope you didn't hear that. Right? Okay. Husbands cook? Well, okay, then you should cook and you should do the same. You offer to Krishna. Say, offer to Krishna. You can't offer Krishna marijuana and meat and chicken. You know, he doesn't like murgi. I'll tell you right now. You offer Krishna what he likes. He likes chawal, dal, you know, chole, you know, dahi, and all cooked in ghee, no dalda. If you cook with dalda, he'll throw it back in your face. See? So, if we learn this simple thing, what could be more complicated? You don't have to move to a cave in the Himalayas and fast. No, you stay at home, you learn how to offer prasad, you have your mandir in the house, and you offer Krishna food, you chant kirtan, you can dance. I once went to somebody's house, they invited me, they were meat eaters, but they wanted to know something about, you know, what I was doing. So I said, I'll come, but you let me cook. I'll cook the dinner. They said, okay. So I went over, and I cooked a real feast, and I made matar paneer, and I made rice pulao, and I made shrikant, and I made really nice dal makhani, and everything cooked in ghee. And we set it out on the table, and I made an offering, right? And they were looking at me suspiciously because they were Christians, you know. And then when we were ready to eat, what did the husband do? This is amazing. It was amazing. He pulled the chicken leg from under the table and put it on the table. And the chicken leg was gray. It was not a fresh chicken leg. It had been cooked maybe a week ago, and it was cold, and he puts it on the table right on top of the prasad. Can you believe that? And he said, would you like some? You know, I mean, people are crazy. And then his sister, he didn't have a wife, but he had a sister. His sister stands up and starts dancing and singing. And I said, is she all right? He said, no, she's like that, she said, because she had a very traumatic experience some years ago. And ever since then, she does this at any time. So here's a chicken leg, the gray chicken leg, and the sister is dancing and singing, you know. And I said to myself, my God, I said, if they would only chant Hare Krishna and dance and get rid of the chicken leg, it would be ecstasy. You see how people complicate life, you know. They don't know how to take something wonderful, you know, and then they get sick or they get psychosis, and they're singing and dancing anyway, but they're talking nonsense. See? And they're putting a chicken on top of the murgi on top of the prasad. So anyway, why should we be like that? Why can't we learn the right thing to do and please Krishna? And then Krishna will reward you, eternal life. No more birth, death, old age, and disease. You'll have a spiritual body in Vaikuntha or Goloka, and all the problems will be over. Right? And the problems start being over right now. You don't have to wait to go to Vaikuntha. You develop Vaikuntha here. Just like a temple, if it's properly managed, is Vaikuntha. You have darshan of Radha and Krishna. You have prasad. You have kirtan. There's dancing. There's prasad. There's the real prasad is Bhagavad Gita. See? So what's wrong with that? You can do the same thing in your house and transform your house into Vaikuntha. See? So please keep these sheets. And the next point that's a misconception that keeps people in the cycle of birth and death is the belief that human beings or mankind is independent in this world because there's no God, and that God is, or if there is a God, he's impotent. So this idea that we're independent, do you actually believe that we're independent? Does anybody here not go to the toilet at all? Anybody? Now, do you want to go to the toilet, or are you forced to go to the toilet? You tell me. You're forced. Now, do you want to go to work, or are you forced to go to work? Do you want to sleep, or are you forced to sleep? Do you want to wake up, or are you forced to wake up? Right? Do you want to pay taxes, or are you forced to pay taxes? Do you want to get old, or are you forced to get old? Do you want to get sick, or are you forced to get sick? Do you want to die, or are you forced to die? Well, some people want to die, but they're crazy. So we don't count those guys. Yeah, I mean, how can you say we're independent when all around us, all the time, we're forced to do things? You see? So this idea that we are independent, it's a false idea. We're not independent. But it's just like if you drive a car. If you drive a car and follow all the rules, then you don't have anything to worry about. My father told me once, he said, I'm going to give you a little advice. He said, I want you to remember this the rest of your life. He said, if you do everything right and you don't do anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. He said, you got that? I said, wait a minute, let me think about this. If I do everything right and I do everything wrong, I have nothing to worry about? He said, no, you didn't get it. Let me repeat it again, and slowly so you get it. If you do everything right and you don't do anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. I said, okay, I got it now. Now, is that true or not true? 100%. Huh? 100%. No, the one thing we're not doing right is Sanatan Dharma. That's what we're not doing right. Like, for example, there's such a thing as a Dandabat Bhakta. A Dandabat Bhakta. The Dandabat Bhakta comes to the temple, goes like this in front of the deity, and says, please, Krishna, I need to get a better job. I'm going to give you a donation now, $10. You please give me a job where I make $100,000 a year. Now, is that a prayer? I mean, he's got his hands like that, right? He's in front of the deity. Please. Is that a prayer? That's not a prayer. That's called Baniya business with Bhagavan. Right? But where else can you give $10 and get a $100,000 job? It's impossible, right? So this is good business, you know. So therefore, that's not a prayer. If you want to pray to God, you have to learn how to glorify God's qualities. Now, I'm going to read a prayer here. You don't have to make up prayers. You know, the Christians are great at making up prayers. Now, let's hold hands and let's pray. Dear God, you know, and so forth, right? No, you don't have to do that. You simply read 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 43. Krishna says, Pitasya lokasya chara charasya tvamasya pujassya gurur gariran natvat samosti abhyadika kutonyo loka trayapi apratima prabhava. Now this is a real prayer. There's no gimme involved in it. Right? Krishna said, Sanjaya says, not Sanjaya, Arjuna says, Krishna, you are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation, of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master, Guru Gariyan, the supreme spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power? Now this is a prayer. You're glorifying Krishna. You're not asking, give me this, give me that. You know, Krishna, my back hurts. I'm going to chiropractor, but he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. So get rid of the backache. You know, that's not a prayer. This is a prayer when you glorify God. But to glorify God, you have to know something about God. If you know nothing about God, then you're not going to glorify Him. Where are you going to learn about God? Bhagavad Gita. One book. All you have to know is one book perfectly, you have all knowledge. And that one book is Bhagavad Gita. Just like you look at the Muslims. A Muslim imam, he can recite the whole Quran. That's what they teach in the madrasa, how to recite the whole Quran. They start when they're 6 years old, and by the time they're 30 years old, they can recite the whole Quran. And this was the way of learning in the Sanskrit Tiki, the Sanskrit schools in India. Of course, they've closed most of them now. But before, young kids would learn to memorize the whole Bhagavad Gita. In fact, my guru's guru, when he was 7 years old, he could recite the entire Bhagavad Gita and explain it. See, you don't realize how much young kids can learn before they get video games and before they play, Fortnite, and before they play all these nonsense games. Before that, they can learn. Their mind is like a sponge. They haven't started smoking marijuana yet. They haven't watched any movies yet, and so forth. They haven't gone to Disneyland yet. So at that point, they can learn anything. And by the time they're 8 or 10 years old, they're like remarkable children. But all they need to do is see one Mickey Mouse movie or a Donald Duck movie, and that's it. It's finished. See? So here, this is a real prayer. And if we learn this Bhagavad Gita, one book, just like the Imam, the rest of his life he's talking about Quran. The Christian minister or priest, his whole life is talking about Bible. In fact, there used to be ministers in the United States in the 1880s, 1890s. There was this one gentleman. He knew the entire Bible by heart. He could quote whole passages of the Bible perfectly in English and also in Greek. See? And he made a living. He was very much liked. He opened churches, right? And the Imam, he's preaching all the time. He has a good life, and people have respect for him. And the real pundit, not Pandit Nehru, but real pundit, he can explain Bhagavad Gita, he can open temples and so forth. So, you just need to learn one book, Bhagavad Gita, you'll have all knowledge. You don't have to read many books. There was once a man who had read many, many books, and he was asked a question, and he could not give a direct answer to the question. He said, well, Kierkegaard says this, and Nietzsche says that, and Sartre says this, and Leibniz says that. These are all philosophers, right? So he can't give a straight answer to a question. He can tell you what other people have speculated. See? So it's just like you go to a doctor and he tests your blood and he tests your iris and he tests this, tests that, and in the end you say, okay, doc, what's the diagnosis? He said, I'm not sure. It may be cancer, or it may be just you need aspirin. Now, was it worth it going to that doctor? No, he doesn't know what he's talking about, right? Maybe this and maybe that. So, you want to have the answers to life, why there's suffering, what causes misery in this world, what is a sin and what is not a sin, what is the purpose of life. You read Bhagavad Gita in the association of genuine devotees, and you'll learn the answer to every one of these questions, right? The questions of life, the imponderables, as it's said in English. The thing, imponderable means it's too hard to understand it. But it'll become easy as ABC if you have the association of genuine devotees. So, number 5, misconception of life is the belief that there is that if there is a God, he is impersonal. Is a light that's emanating, or an energy. Now, at least over 90% of the gurus in India are impersonalists. In fact, one time I went, some man invited me to his house, and he was a very wealthy guy, and he said, I want to initiate you. I want you to be my disciple. I said, I didn't know you were a guru. No, I know all everything. So I got really, worried. I said, I didn't come here to, I'm already initiated by Srila Prabhupada. Why would I be initiated by this guy? And he said, no, your guru doesn't know. So I know. So he started walking around the room, and eventually he walked behind me. And I was wondering what he was doing, and he kept talking about how he can show me this and show me that. And all of a sudden he grabbed me like this, right here, and squeezed it as hard as possible. And he said, you see the light? I said, yeah, I see it. He said, now you're initiated. Now, if I squeeze you like that, will you see the light? Yeah, you'll see something on the inside that looks like light. But that's not initiation, You see, in this world, there's so much nonsense. It's unbelievable. And unless you know what is real and what's false, it's very easy to get tricked, right? It's just like going to a stockbroker, and he said, you got to buy this stock. This stock is a hot stock. It's way undervalued. The stock price to value is way below what it should be. So you buy this stock, and in 1 year you'll be a millionaire, right? And then 1 year goes by, the company went belly up, and you lost all your money, right? So, this is what's going on in life. There's more stockbrokers go to jail every year, or get sued for cheating their customers. So, and then the doctor, like I had a friend of mine, he went to a doctor in Seattle. Every year he had a checkup, and the doctor told him you have cancer. So my friend called me up. He said, Prabhu, I went to the doctor. He said, I have cancer. So what should I do? I said, tomorrow, buy an airplane ticket and go as far away from Seattle as possible. Go to Florida or go to anywhere. I said, just far away from Seattle. He said, then what do I do? I said, then open up the yellow pages and look up doctors, right? And call around and see who's an expert in cancer. He said, okay. Then what do I do? I said, you go, you pay him money and tell him you want a complete checkup. He He said, what if he asked me for my medical records? He said, you don't have any medical records. You want a complete checkup, you don't care how much it costs. He said, all right. Next day, he took an airplane and went, I think he went to Boston. He found a doctor, it's a cancer specialist. And the doctor said, you have your medical? He said, I don't have anything. He said, I don't care. I'll pay you whatever it is. I want a complete checkup. You do all your testing, diagnosis. I want to know. He said, okay. So he stayed there for a week. After a week, the doctor said, you know, you're in good health. You don't have cancer. He called me up. He said, Prabhu, you saved my life. He said, when I get back to Seattle, I'm going to give a piece of my mind to that doctor. He said, that guy, he wanted to trick me into treating me for cancer. I don't have cancer. The doctor said I'm like an 18-year-old kid, you know. So you see, what our problem is, if someone has, you know, PhD, DDT, SDD, or whatever, after his name, you say, oh, that this guy, he's got to be upstanding, you know. Now, if you go to buy a used car, you say, whoa, I got to be real careful, you know. Used car salesmen, they're always tricking you, you know, to buy a lemon, you know, a bad car. But the doctor can't be like the used car salesman. Well, let me tell you something. You know what the overhead of a doctor is nowadays? Just to have insurance as a doctor is extremely expensive. And then if he has a wife who likes, you know, fancy clothes and jewelry and nice house and car, now his cost of living went way up, right? So he doesn't make money by telling you you're all right. He only makes money by telling you there's something wrong, right? He gives you bad news, it's devastating news, and he said, don't worry, I'll take care of you, right? So, the buyer beware. The buyer beware. Not everybody is honest in this world today, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay, so the idea that God is an impersonal force, this is the biggest hoax in the history of the world. And over 90% of the gurus in India are preaching this. That you have to renounce this world and merge into the light. Right? And that God is energy and individuality is false. And all the diversity you see in this world is actually false. It's all Maya. But while you're in Maya, you can enjoy because it's not real. So one time, I saw this person sitting in yoga, let's say, with his legs crossed and with fingers like this, and he had a cigarette in his hand. He was holding the cigarette like that. His thumb, his index and middle finger holding the cigarette, but his thumb was like this, so it looked like he was meditating. So I went up to him, I said, and he had his eyes like half closed, you know. So I said, excuse me, sir. I said, can I ask you a question? He said, get away. No, I said, I would like to ask you a question. Go away. Don't bother me. No, I'm sorry, but I just want to know why you have a cigarette. And he opened his eyes a little more. He said, you are Hare Krishna? I said, yes. I figured it. You guys are such downers. You don't know anything about yoga. You don't know anything. You think you know everything. I said, I just want to ask you why you have a cigarette. He said, you don't understand philosophy. I said, okay, well, what don't I understand? Listen, I am not this body. Do you understand that? I said, okay, but why do you have a cigarette? Well, I don't have a cigarette. My body has a cigarette. So, see, he had an insulated explanation. You know, you can't get in there. You know, it's too perfect, right? I am not this body, right? So this is called a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. He learned I'm not the body, right? And then immediately he pretends that he can meditate and smoke a cigarette at the same time because he's not the body. So when you believe that God is impersonal and that you're not really a person either, and the ultimate destination is to merge into this homogeneous energy called Brahman. And the world is all Maya. Then, who cares? You can play with Maya all you want, because it's not real. As long as you do your meditation, and then you'll merge into this homogeneous oneness in the end. You see, it's a whole hoax, and it leads to atheism and acting like a nonsense. That's why people get caught. All these man gods in India, they get caught smuggling gold, molesting women, murdering people, right? Because they think, I am God, or everything is Maya, and I can do whatever I want. See? So, and lastly, number 6 is false associations by family, society, nationality, and so forth. These faulty associations bind one to this material world. So, I had when I was in France, this one person named Ahmed Shah joined our temple. He was a member of the Ahmedi sect. Ahmedis, most of them are in Pakistan, and they believe that Ahmed Shah was the next prophet after Muhammad. Now, of course, in Islam, Muhammad is the last prophet. So they claimed Ahmed Shah was the prophet after Muhammad. So the Muslims hate the Ahmedis, and they actually kill them. But the Ahmedis actually are nice people. So this boy, he joined our temple. He was about 22 years old. And he was a very nice boy. And he took the Krishna consciousness right away. He was coming out, chanting in the streets with us. He loved prasadam. He was chanting on japa. And one day he received a phone call from his mom in Pakistan. And after he put the phone down, he was like shaking. I said, Prabhu, what's the matter? He said, that was my mother. I said, what happened? She told me if I don't come home on the next plane back from Paris to Pakistan, she's going to cut her throat and kill herself. I said, you don't think she's going to do that? No, he said, you don't know my mom. She's crazy. She'll do that. I said, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to go back to Pakistan. I can't take any of this stuff with me. I can't take the beads. I can't take any of the books. He left. You see. Now, did he do the right thing or the wrong thing? Let's analyze this. Here was a boy. He got very serious about Krishna consciousness. His mom calls him up and says, if you don't come back right away, I'll kill myself. Did he do the right thing or the wrong thing? Let's see what you think. What do you think, Prabhu?
He did the wrong thing. Because of the attachment and
yeah. Would his mother commit suicide? Let's ask that question. Would she actually do it? There's a possibility she would. I doubt she would do it, but there's a possibility she might have done it. But I doubt it. You know, actually, to do such a thing, you have to be really crazy to do it. So this is, you know, people get into situations like this sometimes in life, right? Now, I tried to convince her. I said, look, your mother, I don't think she'll commit suicide. So you just stay here. You call her up, you talk to her. He said, Prabhu, you don't know my mother. She says this, she'll do it. I said, okay, you go home, and then you do what she says for some time, and then when there's an opportunity, you come back. He said, I'll try. He said, I'll try. But of course, as soon as he went home, the mother got him married, and then he got a job with relatives who were wealthy. They gave him a good job, and we never saw him again. You know. So there's family attachment. Now, if the family are good people, like my family, they were not very, you know, intelligent spiritually, but they were generally good people. When I became Krishna conscious, at first they didn't like it, But over time, they saw the change in me, and they liked it. And then they supported me, right? They didn't send me money or anything, but they supported me. They were not upset after a certain time. And then later on, my mother started chanting Hare Krishna. Yeah. So because I never mistreated them. I never was harsh with them, and I just tolerated when they criticized, Krishna consciousness. And I always cooked for them whenever I went home to see them. And eventually I realized that this is a good thing. He's a nicer boy now than he was before, right? He doesn't have any bad habits and so forth. So you have to have faith in Krishna. But if one is overwhelmed by family attachment, and if the family are addicted to bad habits, then it's a losing proposition for both, because you could help them by becoming Krishna conscious, overcome their bad habits. Just like in my family, my mom became a vegetarian. She started chanting. My brothers, they told me, my older brother told me, look, he said, you are a fanatic. You're like way over here. But we're right in the middle. Sometimes we go this side, sometimes we go that side. I mean, sometimes we go and chant Hare Krishna, and sometimes we drink whiskey and we eat meat. See, we're not fanatics like you. So he never really understood, but my mom understood, and she became a devotee, right? So these are things you have to experience in life. But the ultimate solution to all the problems of life is to develop Krishna prema, love for Krishna, and share that with other people. And you'll see miracles happen. Miracles happen when you depend on Krishna. So we'll stop right there. You have this sheet. If you don't have it, you ask for in the back there. He'll give it to you. This was what we talked about today. We didn't cover everything because it's getting late. But these are the main misconceptions of life that keeps us a slave of repeated birth and death. It's good to know what the misconceptions are. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions? Any questions? It has to be one question. No question, no eat.
Is religion and evil?
What's that?
Is religion and evil?
Is religion what?
It is an evil or it is...
Oh, is religion an evil? General question. Well, let's put it like this. Are all people good in the world? What do you say? Huh?
When they were born.
That means there are some evil people, right? Yeah. Are all people evil?
Not.
Okay, so is religion an evil? No. But if it's wrongly represented, yes. If it's wrongly represented, yes. Because we already are suffering from misconceptions, right? So a religion that wrongly represents God, yes, it is evil. And it's just another misrepresentation that complicates our life.
That is what is happening between India and Pakistan. Because Allah and Krishna, if they do not know that it's a saying, that's what the religion is
well, you say that the problem is religious. It's not religious. The problem is domination. Who's going to dominate? Religion is just the excuse. It's a question of domination. And this is why we are in the material world. We came here to dominate. You can dominate individually, you can dominate as a family, you can dominate as a race, you can dominate as a religion. This desire to dominate and not to be a humble servant, but to be a dominator, to exploit assets, material assets such as properties, countries, and people. So that's why we should never think we're independent. We are always dependent on God. And someone who understands that, they're not going to go around killing people, trying to steal property, or trying to invade a country. They're happy with whatever God gives them. And they use that peace of mind to develop Krishna consciousness in this lifetime. They can be Muslim, They can be Christian, they can be Hare Krishna, they can be Hindu, they can be Buddhist. But if they understand that they are always subordinate to God. See, this is what you learn by coming to a religion. You learn a bona fide religion. You learn that we are all subordinate to God. There's no one equal to or greater. Therefore, we have a responsibility to act in a moral, ethical way and respect all life, and to be able to practice the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? And that way we develop respect, right? What's the word for respect in Hindi? Saman? Is it what? What? Simhan. Saman, right. So this Saman, this is what you learn in real spiritual life. You respect the ant, you respect the pundit, you respect the poor person, you respect all living entities, and you respect nature, and above all, you respect God. And if you have real respect for God, you act as a perfect gentleman always, or a gentlewoman. Right? Haribol. So we'll have Arti. Thank you for the question. Yeah.
Real quick, basically compassion is one of the most important qualities of the devotee. So how do you tell when you're actually being compassionate or you're actually falling into some kind of trap of Maya?
Okay, question is, how do you know if you're actually being compassionate? Well, a compassionate person feels the pain of other people. Therefore, 1, he'll never cause pain to anyone. 2, he'll do whatever is possible to relieve the pain of other people. Now, what is the real pain? Pain is birth, old age, disease, and death. So how do you solve those problems? You don't solve it simply by doing charity. Like some guy's holding a sign at 148th Street, Vietnam vet, please help, God bless. So if you give that guy $5 and he goes to a 7-Eleven and buys a bottle of beer, have you helped him? You haven't helped him. But if you say, my dear friend, come with me, we'll go to the Hare Krishna temple and have prasad. He said, what's that? He said, a hot vegetarian meal. He said, I don't want it, I want meat. Then what are you going to do? But if he has a little bit of decency, he'll say, okay, no one has ever invited me like this before. I'll go with you. But let's see what happens. So you did your duty. You brought him to Krishna, and he got some prasad, and maybe he got a book. Maybe we have some extra clothes. Like one day, it was last winter, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning, some guy walked into the temple, collapsed on the floor, and he brought his dog with him, and he collapsed on the floor. It was very cold outside. And I was like shocked. So I helped him get up and go into one of our classrooms. And I closed the door, and I talked to him. And he was very tired, so I let him sleep. And when he woke up, I said, do you want to, go to the bathroom or anything like that? He said, no. I said, would you like to eat something? He said, okay, I'll eat something, but my dog is really hungry. I said, I'll bring for the dog also. So I brought prasadam. I put a plate for the dog. Dog ate it up right away. And he ate a little bit of it. And I said, tell me your story. He said, well, you can see I'm not doing very well. I said, okay. I said, you can't stay here. You can stay here sometime until you feel better. But you can't stay here because we don't have that facility. But you can come here every day if you want to eat. And you can bring your dog also. You have to stay outside, but we'll feed him also. And he said, oh, I appreciate that. No, he said, I have somewhere to go, but I need to rest a little bit. I said, okay, you rest. I said, do you need some extra clothes? He said, you got something? I said, yeah, I can give you a really nice coat. It'll keep you warm. He said, okay. So I tried to help him as much as I could. And then he thanked me later on when he felt better, and he left. So why did he come into the Hare Krishna temple? First, the door is always open, right? Number two, he came in and just collapsed with the dog. Now, normally we don't let dogs in the temple, but I didn't, this was a special dog. It was one of those guide dogs. He had it on his collar that he was a special dog. So, I knew he wouldn't go roaming around the temple. He would stay with him. And in the end, he got prasadam. I gave him a book. I gave him a coat. I let him rest. The dog ate prasadam. And then he left. So what is the real compassion? You give someone the opportunity to come in contact with Krishna. And you take time to help a person, and be kind to them. So if you want to be compassionate, come with us. Every Saturday we take our food truck and we feed at least 200 people in the University District. Now you'd be surprised, they're not all homeless people. Half the people who come now are Indian students at the University of Washington. They're getting PhDs and master's degrees, some undergraduate. I was surprised. I never thought that would happen. I thought we would only get homeless people. But we're getting all kinds of people coming, including the homeless. So, there's many ways that you can be compassionate. But real compassion is not compassion for the shirt and coat of a person. It's compassion for the soul. Because the soul is suffering in this body and in the shirt and coat. Therefore, you have to give some soul food. And that's not spare ribs. That is Bhagavad Gita and prasadam. So thank you for the question. Haribol. So we'll have Arti now. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bola Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Shiva Jayo, Jaya Gora Chande, Arati Ke Soba, Jayo, Jaya Gora Chande, Arati Ke Soba, Jana Vitatavane, Jagamana Loba, Jayo Jaya Gora Chande, Arati Ke Soba, Jana Vitatavane, Jagamana Loba, Jana Vitatavane, Jagamana Loba, Gorangeraro Tiksoba, Jagajana Manaloba, Gorangeraro Tiksoba, Jagajana Manaloba, Gorangeraro Tiksoba, Jagajana Manaloba, Jagajana Manaloba, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Namaste Narasimhaya, Pralada Lada Dayini, Hiranyakashipu Bhakshahai, Hiranyakashipu Bhakshahai, Shilatam Kanakalaye, Shilatam Kanakalaye, Ito Nishinga Bharato Nishinga, Yato Yato Yamitato Nishinga, Bayi Nishinga, Hidaye Nishinga, Bayi Nishinga, Hidaye Nishinga, Narashina Madim Saranam Prabhade, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. He just started it. Go call him. Hey, Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Just started the audience. No, that's not what you said. You said you have to stop at 7:30. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda 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 Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala 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 Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Bolo Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Bolo Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari, Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gopala, Gopala, Yasodanandana Gopala, 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 Yasodanandana Gopala, 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 Yasodanandana Gopala. Gopala, Gopala, Yashodanandana Gopala, 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 Yashodanandana Gopala. Hey, Bola Gopala, Gopala, Yashodanandana Gopala, 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 Yashodanandana Gopala, 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 Yashodanandana Gopala, 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 Yashodanandana Gopala, 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 Yashodanandana Gopala. 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hey, bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol. Gora Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol, Nitya Gora Hari Bol. Nitya Gora Premanandi ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala, Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala. Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala, Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala, Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala, Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala. Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala. Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare. Hey, bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala Radhe. Hey, bolo Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala Radhe. Bolo Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala Radhe. Bolo Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala Radhe. Govinda Gopala Radhe. Govinda Radhe Gopala Radhe. Govinda Radhe Gopala Radhe. Bolo Govinda Radhe Gopala Radhe. Bolo Govinda Radhe Gopala Radhe. Bolo Govinda Radhe Gopala Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala Radhe. Bolo Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala Radhe. Govinda Radhe Gopala Radhe. Govinda Radhe Gopala Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala Radhe. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaura, Hari Bol. Nita Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaura, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gora Haribo, Nita Gora Haribo, Nita Gora Haribo, 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 Nita Gora Haribo. Nita Gora Premanandi ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parajika Chasta Tarasatarashi Shishiman. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vinda ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem Shikoho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinda ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samkunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Mayapura Dham ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki Jai. Tulasi Devi ki Jai. Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Ganga Maya ki Jai. Jamuna Maya ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinda ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Grantha Raja ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Namaste Narasimhaya Pralada Lada Dayini Namaste Narasimhaya Pralada Lada Dayini. Don't play loud. You can play, but not loud. You can play, but not loud. Hiranyakashipu Bhakshahar Shilatam Kanakalaye. Hiranyakashipu Bhakshahar Shilatam Kanakalaye. Ito Nisingha Bharato Nisingha Yato Yato Yamitato Nisingha Ito Nisingha Pahil Nisingha Hidaye Nisingha Narashinamadim Saranam Prabhade. Tavakara Kamala Varenakam Adbhuta Singham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavajita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Tavakara Kamala Varenakam Adbhuta Singham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavajita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Lord Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanandi ki jai, Nrsingadev Bhagavan ki jai. Hare Krishna. Well, I got some good news tonight. It's not often that there's good news, but we have very good news tonight. Finally, after 5 years, we have received our permit to go forward with our Bellevue Temple. This is a great blessing by Radha and Krishna. That means now we can build the inside of our building into a school, a temple, a commercial kitchen, and eventually a restaurant. And we will have a lot of fun there, just like we're having here. So it'll go on simultaneously, and it's right in the Spring District of Bellevue. There's at least 24,000 people from Southeast Asia, India living there, and it's walking distance for many, many people. So it'll be hopefully a very popular temple, and you're all welcome to come. We'll have programs at different times there than here, and it'll be just a wonderful facility. So Hare Krishna. So we want to thank, tonight we have a birthday from Mahati. Mahati's 3rd birthday tonight. And our upcoming events, we have our Holi Festival, Holika, on March the 23rd at the Marymore Park from 12 to 5. So it's our annual Holi Festival of Colors, ushering in the spring. So it's approximately the same day as spring this year. So please come on March 23rd, on a Saturday. And on March 20th, 21st, 22nd, we're going to celebrate Gaur Purnima, the appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is on the side altar there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established the Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga, the Harinam Sankirtan. So every year we go out on a big Harinam party. But since we're having the Color Festival on Saturday the 23rd, we will have our Maha Sankirtan party the week after on Saturday. And we get 250 to 300 people that come out on the Sankirtan party. So please help us reach that number. Every year we have at least 250, but this year we want a minimum 300 people to come. So we're going to give you a chance to sign up to come out on the party. And Damodar Prasad Prabhu will organize the signing. Put your name down and mark the date. So it's 7 days after the 23rd. So it's the 30th of March, Saturday, that we're going to have Maha Harinam or Nagar Sankirtan in Seattle. And we want at least 300 people to come. And we'll be in downtown Seattle starting at the Westlake Mall, the Westlake Park. And then we'll go down to Pike Place and then Pike Place Park and back again. There'll be thousands and thousands of people that'll see us. At least 20 to 30,000 people will see us. So come and we'll have a lot of prasadam to distribute. Cookies, flowers, and prasad. Burritos. We take at least 600 burritos on that day. And we'll come back to Westlake Park and have a big festival also after the going around. So please come and have fun with us. Then, so that's Gaur Purnima celebrated in the temple on the 20th, the 21st, and 22nd. And then 23rd, we have the Color Festival. And we have a guest speaker on February 27th, 28th, and March 1st. From 7:30 to 9 p.m., His Grace Gokuleshwar Prabhu, and he'll be giving a seminar here, so you're welcome to come to that. Is Mahati here? Where is this? Where is Mahati? Here is Mahati. She is 3 years old today. Hare Krishna Mahati. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Do we have a cake? Is it here? Yeah. We have a cake? Downstairs. Oh, thank you. Okay. So, can we get the cake? It's downstairs for Mahati. Okay, while we're getting the cake, and we want to thank Mahati's parents. They've Arun Gangavarapu has donated, and his wife have donated $250 tonight on the occasion of Mahati's birthday. $251. It's a great way to celebrate a birthday, getting Radha and Krishna's mercy. Haribo. So we'll wait a few seconds for the cake to come. And every Saturday we go on Hari Nam Sankirtan. And we leave here around 3:15 in the afternoon. And we also bring our food truck to the University District at the University Heights Community Center, 50th and University Way. And we serve at least 200 people. And it's a really exciting experience. And the number of people are increasing all the time. And you wouldn't believe it, they're not all homeless people. Half the people that come are Indian students. And they're getting their PhDs, their masters, and so forth. So it's a great experience to distribute prasadam from our food truck. It's the only free food truck on the entire West Coast. And it's also legal. So, and pretty soon we'll be going to Redmond on a regular basis also to distribute prasadam. We just got permission from the city of Redmond to take our food truck out there. And also, this June 22nd, in the Redmond Downtown Park, it's a brand new park in downtown Redmond, we are organizing the first vegetarian, vegan, raw food, naturopathy, Ayurveda, yoga festival. And it could very well become as big as Ananda Mela. It's going to be the first time we are supported by the city of Redmond, and many people are getting excited hearing about this, so I'm announcing it tonight. And we're going to need a lot of volunteers. It's going to be like, it'll eventually be like Ananda Mela. This first year might be smaller, but we need a lot of help. We're going to have many food booths. presenting all kinds of vegetarian, vegan, and raw food items, as well as many interactive booths, and there will be a lot of different people, having booths like yoga centers, juice bars, vegetarian, vegan, raw food restaurants, and Ayurvedic doctors, naturopathic doctors, massage therapists. It's going to be a very exciting festival. It's the only vegetarian festival on the east side of the Puget Sound. It could grow into a huge festival like Ananda Mela. So please come and support us for that. Do we have the cake? Also, now every Sunday we have a program at our new farm in Auburn. This week we had over 30 people came. There's Mahaprasadam, there's Kirtan, there's Pravachan, and there's Ghost Seva every Sunday from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So you're all invited. Anybody who lives in the south side is invited to come. Anyone who wants to come can come. Also, we are going to get 2 new cows, 2 new Guernsey cows for our Auburn farm. They're both pregnant, and they've both been certified as giving A2 milk, which is very, very special. If anyone would like to donate for one or both cows, it'll be a great thing to do. Offering a cow to our Goshala is a very auspicious thing because we'll never kill the cow. We'll always treat her like our own mother. And people are coming on a regular basis. Like today, people came, they wanted Gomurt from our gear cows, Gujarati gear cows in Redmond. And if you want Gomurt or cow urine, we get it from our youngest cow, Padmavati, and we get it fresh. We don't store it. When you come, we actually, Padmavati she's very merciful. She will give urine almost immediately, and then you can use it if you have a new house or for any reason at all. We also have Gobar from our Indian cows. So it's very... Okay, now, Mahati's birthday. Also, because our food truck is becoming extremely popular, we want to get a second truck because there's a lot of demand, and we could go out every day of the week to different parts of Seattle. People are asking us now to come, so we want to get a second truck also. To get a truck and outfit it, it takes at least 6 to 8 months. So if we got one, soon, then by the winter time it would be ready. And also, we will have our first Rath Yatra cart. We're gonna receive it sometime in March or April, and that way we can have more than one Rath Yatra every summer. We can have up to 6 Rath Yatra festivals. So that's coming also. Hare Krishna. So where's Mahati? Wait a minute. Oh, there she is. Okay.